In the 103rd minute, Croatia scored the goal that seemed to save its World Cup. Joško Gvardiol tapped the ball into Portugal's net. Croatian players sprinted toward the corner. The crowd exploded. The scoreboard said 2-2. Extra time appeared inevitable. Then a sensor inside the ball detected a touch almost nobody could see. Igor Matanovic had made the slightest contact. At that instant, Mario Pasalic was offside. The goal disappeared. The celebration became evidence. Portugal advanced, and Croatia's World Cup ended because technology found a touch the cameras could barely prove. And somehow, that was only one ending in a round of 32 filled with penalties, collapses, giant killings, and favorites surviving by seconds. This was the first round of 32 in men's World Cup history. Expansion gave more countries a path into the knockouts, but it also created one additional moment when an entire tournament could be reduced to a single decision. 16 matches, no draws, no group table to rescue anyone. If 90 minutes could not separate the teams, extra time and penalties would. The opening round proved that reputation had almost no protective value. Four-time champion Germany controlled the ball and still went home. The Netherlands reached penalties and lost. Senegal led by 2 goals with 5 minutes remaining and still lost. Cabo Verde had not won a match at the tournament and still pushed defending champion Argentina into extra time. This was not a clean separation between favorites and outsiders. It was a test of who could remain rational while the match stopped making sense. Germany against Paraguay looked like the kind of match statistics were designed to explain. Germany had 76% possession. It attempted 21 shots to Paraguay's 6. It spent long stretches controlling territory and forcing the game toward the Paraguayan goal. The match ended 1-1. In the shootout, control became irrelevant. Paraguay won 4-3 and eliminated a 4-time world champion in the first knockout round. The side that had qualified through third place was suddenly in the last 16. Hours later, Morocco and the Netherlands also finished 1-1. Morocco won its shootout 3-2. The Atlas Lions had already used penalties to remove Spain in 2022. Now another European power was gone, and Morocco had another chance to turn a memorable tournament into a deep run. 2 shootouts, 2 European eliminations. The new round had found its personality. The 3 host nations carried a different pressure. They had not needed to qualify for the tournament, but all 3 had survived the group stage. Now each had to prove that home advantage could survive knockout tension. Canada defeated South Africa 1-0 with Steven Eustachio's late goal. It was Canada's first men's World Cup knockout victory, and it moved the co-host into a meeting with Morocco. Canada had spent more than 90 minutes searching for the breakthrough. Alphonso Davies returned from injury in the 75th minute and immediately raised the tempo, but the match still appeared headed for extra time. In the second minute of stoppage time, a South African clearance fell to Eustachio. He controlled it and drove the ball into the bottom corner. Canada's first knockout victory arrived at almost the last available moment. Mexico beat Ecuador 2-0 and turned the expanded bracket into another night at home. The United States defeated Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0, but the score concealed a serious cost. Folarin Balogun scored in the 45th minute, then received a red card after video review in the 64th. The Americans had to protect the lead with 10 players. Malik Tillman made it safe with an 81st minute free kick, producing only the second knockout victory in the men's team's World Cup history. Balogun's suspension meant the leading American scorer would miss the next match against Belgium, the country that eliminated the United States in extra time in 2014. England's route was far less comfortable. Brian Sipenga put DR Congo ahead in the 7th minute. The lead held until the final 15. Then Harry Kane scored twice and England escaped 2-1. The score looked routine afterward. The match was not. The round of 16 would now contain all 3 hosts, and England would walk directly into Mexico's home crowd. Not every favorite suffered. France beat Sweden 3-0 and moved through without requiring the emotional rescue that consumed other contenders. Spain produced its strongest performance of the tournament, beating Austria 3-0 with 2 goals from Mikel Oyarzabal and another from Pedro Porro. It was Spain's first World Cup knockout victory since the country won the tournament in 2010. Switzerland defeated Algeria 2-0. Those 3 favorites avoided unnecessary chaos. Brazil did not. Japan took the lead through Sano in the 29th minute and carried it into halftime. For almost an hour, Brazil was not managing a knockout match. It was chasing one. Casemiro equalized in the 56th minute, but Japan continued to hold the 5-time champions at 1-1 as the clock passed 90. Then, in the 5th minute of stoppage time, Martinelli scored. Brazil won 2-1 with almost no time left for Japan to answer. The final score placed Brazil beside the comfortable favorites. The route there belonged with the escapes. Norway also defeated Côte d'Ivoire 2-1, extending a comeback World Cup that had already ended a 28-year absence. The reward was Brazil. By the middle of the round, the bracket had split into 2 kinds of survivor, teams that imposed control and teams that had already experienced something close to disaster. Senegal led Belgium 2-0 with 5 minutes of regulation remaining. This was not a narrow advantage under constant pressure. Senegal had 1 foot in the last 16. Belgium needed 2 goals simply to avoid elimination. Romelu Lukaku scored in the 86th minute. Yuri Tielemans equalized in the 89th. In 3 minutes, Senegal's victory became extra time. Then, with a penalty shootout seconds away, Tielemans went down in the box. VAR reviewed the challenge. The referee awarded a penalty over Senegal's protests. Tielemans converted in the 125th minute, the latest goal in World Cup history. Belgium won 3-2 after trailing by 2 goals in the 85th minute. It was only the second time in 11 World Cups that a team had recovered from a deficit of 2 or more in a knockout match and advanced. The other team was also Belgium against Japan in 2018. Senegal had played 85 minutes of winning football. Belgium survived because the match lasted 125. Egypt and Australia reached extra time at 1-1. Neither country had ever won a men's World Cup knockout match. Australia made the specialist gamble. Veteran goalkeeper Matthew Ryan entered for the shootout. But the first Australian penalty sailed over from Harry Soder. 18-year-old Lucas Harrington later hit the bar. Mohamed Salah converted with calm. Hossam Abdelmaguid scored the deciding kick. Egypt won the shootout 4-2, and Salah left the field in tears. The victory was historic for another reason. Egypt had entered the tournament without a World Cup match win. It earned the first during the group stage, then added its first knockout victory days later. Its next opponent would be Argentina. Salah had survived penalties. Messi had barely survived Cabo Verde. Cabo Verde reached the knockouts without winning a match. 3 draws had been enough. Against defending champion Argentina, the debutante was expected to become a charming footnote. Instead, 40-year-old goalkeeper Vozinha turned the match into an argument. He made at least 4 elite saves against Lionel Messi in the final hour. Argentina went ahead. Cabo Verde answered. Argentina went ahead again in extra time. Cabo Verde answered again. The champion finally won 3-2, with Messi contributing a goal and an assist, and Christian Romero scoring the winner in the second half of extra time. But the emotional center of the match belonged to a goalkeeper whose original dream had simply been for his mother to see him play at a World Cup. Cabo Verde left without a victory. It also left after forcing the defending champion through 120 minutes. Those facts do not contradict each other. They explain why the run mattered. Portugal's 2-1 victory over Croatia contained 2 different arguments about technology. VAR awarded Portugal a penalty after Nikola Vlasic pulled Renato Vega's shirt. Cristiano Ronaldo converted. At 41 years and 147 days, he became the oldest player to score in a World Cup knockout match and the first player over 40 to do it. Then came Gvardiol's apparent equalizer. The central question was not whether Pešalić stood offside. He did. The question was when the attacking touch occurred. Ordinary replay made Matanovic's contact almost impossible to identify. The connected ball registered it. That touch created the offside phase, and the goal was canceled. The decision may have been technically correct. It was also a perfect image of modern football, a stadium celebrating one reality while invisible data prepared another. Croatia had reached at least the semifinal in 2018 and 2022. In 2026, its run ended in the round of 32, one censor reading away from extra time. The final place belonged to Colombia. Jhon Arias scored against Ghana in the 14th minute. That early goal became the entire margin. Ghana remained one moment from forcing extra time, but Colombia protected the lead and won 1-0. After a round defined by stoppage time winners, extra time penalties, and celebrations reversed by technology, the last match ended with a goal scored early and defended for the rest of the night. Colombia entered the knockouts unbeaten and left the round of 32 the same way. Arias supplied the decisive touch, Ghana became the final country eliminated, and Switzerland finally learned its opponent. 16 places are confirmed. Paraguay meets France. Canada faces Morocco. Brazil plays Norway. Mexico meets England in front of a crowd that will make the match feel larger than the last 16. Portugal faces Spain. The United States meets Belgium. Argentina plays Egypt. Switzerland meets Colombia. The new round of 32 did exactly what expansion promised. It gave more countries a knockout moment. It also reminded every favorite that one more round means one more way to disappear. Germany controlled and lost. Senegal led and lost. Croatia celebrated and lost. Cabo Verde never won a match and still became unforgettable. The World Cup is down to 16. The margin is down to almost nothing.